Hey gang, time for a special episode of TwoTon. We're going to do a movie review. Thanks to everybody who participated in my Facebook poll to pick a movie from the year I was born, 1973, to watch a movie and do a review on one that I've never seen before. And American Graffiti was on the list. It's a George Lucas film made in 1973. And I'd never seen it before. I'd heard about it. Of course, you know, almost 50 years old. Most people my age have seen that movie, probably more than once. But it's just a little straightforward, my, kind of review of the movie, what I liked about it, what I didn't like. So I thought I would throw that out there first off. Now, let's talk about what I liked about the movie first. Well, first, basically, if you haven't seen it, it takes place in 1962 in Southern California, and it's a coming-of-age hangout movie, as my brother Jay called it. These Southern California kids getting ready to go off to college after graduation and everything, and it takes place in 62, which in theory, according to what I've read, is supposed to be the end of the 50s, is actually 62. I don't know what that means, but it's actually the beginning of the 60s, so nice try. Anyway, so these kids, they're out cruising the pike for one last night before college happens, and, it was, that's the gist of the movie, they're out cruising the streets, and it's basically just a bunch of banter between all these kids. Well, here's what I liked about the movie. First off, I love the cast. The cast was great. A lot of future superstars in the movie, but also faces that you might have been familiar with even back then. Of course, Opie, Ron Howard. I mean, he plays Steve in the movie, and Richard Dreyfuss, who was he'd been in a few things back in the 60s, but he was coming up as well and would eventually go to be in Jaws and a bunch of other Mr. Holland's Opus and tons of other great movies. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Of course, one of my favorites, Falfa, played by Harrison Ford. It's fun to see him put on a bit of a country accent. This is, of course, this is a couple years before Star Wars, so he wasn't exactly Han Solo in this movie. But, and he almost didn't get the part, from what I understand. They almost gave it to somebody else. Mackenzie Phillips from One Day at a Time, who was, she was only 14 in this movie. Of course, I guess, I don't know how old she was when she started the show One Day at a Time. Probably not much older than this, obviously, but she's meant to play a teenager. Charles Martin Smith, he wasn't really well known back then. This was new for him, but he went on to be a B actor in a lot of made-for-TV movies, a few big-name films. He was in Deep Impact with Elijah Wood. He played Dr. Wolf, who died in the Jeep explosion while they were racing to tell the world about the comet in Deep Impact. And he's been in some other stuff as well. And, of course, you got Cindy Williams, who played Shirley in Laverne and Shirley. She plays Lori, Steve's girlfriend, Opie's girlfriend. I call him Opie, but Steve in the movie. So, but the cast was great. Wolfman Jack was in it. A very sexy young Suzanne Summers played the woman in the T-Bird, or as they called it, the hot blonde in the T-Bird. They never gave her name in that movie, which is something I kind of enjoyed about it. But she looked pretty good in that Thunderbird that she was cruising around in all night. And we'll get back to that in a second. About the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. It's all great songs from the 50s and even some from the 60s, but a lot of classic 1950s like teenage love songs and stuff like that. In particular, I know they did this on purpose. I got to give credit to them. The song placement in the movie was perfect because some of the scenes had songs that were speaking about the scene. And in particular, one that was like really really cool was when Kurt was in the back of the car with Laurie and Steve, and he sees Suzanne Summers in the Thunderbird for the first time, and the song that's playing on the radio is "Why Do Fools Fall in Love?" Because he sees her and he's like instantly in love with this girl, and he doesn't realize, he doesn't know her, doesn't know his name. Why do fools seem so gay? It was great song placement. And also, when Carol, Mackenzie Phillips, first hops into John Milner's 1932 yellow Ford coupe, they're talking about, he gets in and he realizes how young she is. And he goes, "How old are you?" She goes, "Old enough." You know, she wants to, grow up and hang out with these older guys. And he's like, "Oh, God, you're like a kid." And he doesn't want to hang out with like a child. So in the background, of course, they're playing the song, "That'll Be the Day." That'll be the day. Da-da-da. I thought that was perfect because like it's telling us that John Milner is like, that'll be the day when I hang out with a 14-year-old. Not going to happen. He doesn't want to get in trouble, any of that other stuff. So good song placement in the movie. And of course, at the very end, when Kurt gets on the plane to go to college, they're playing, "Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night" by the Spaniels. And that was perfect for the ending of the movie. So I like the soundtrack. I like the cast. The song placement was fantastic. Another thing I loved about the movie was the cars. Oh, my goodness. John Milner, the car he drove was a 1932 yellow Ford coupe. Had no hood on the front so you can see the engine and everything, and that was a badass car. And of course, Steve, Opie, Ron Howard, drove a 1958 Chevy Impala. Had the wings on the back, beautiful off-white color. Oh, it was a beautiful car. And of course, you got Harrison Ford had the black 1955 Chevy 150. Here's the thing about that particular car. There were 3 of those cars made, and they were made for a movie from 2 years earlier. And the movie was called Two Lane Blacktop. And 2 of those 3 cars from Two Lane Blacktop were used by Harrison Ford in American Graffiti. So that particular car already had been in a movie. But they gave it to him in this movie, and because they, I guess, from what I read from the story, George Lucas found them in the prop lot for the older cars when he was making the film. So, and he just requisitioned them for the movie. So, all right. Here's what I didn't like about the movie. I realize it's like a hangout movie, and it's meant to be, more personal and off the cuff kind of dialogue. I'm not a fan of that kind of movie, hangout movies. For me, I realized there was some ad-libbing in there too. It was like babble to me. It's not that I didn't understand it, it's that it bores me. I just didn't care for it. It was almost like the dialogue was really lame in some spots. It's like, yeah, they're hanging out, they're doing their thing, but just some of the stuff they were talking about, I don't really know. I wasn't, of course, born in the 60s, but I just felt like it didn't seem naturally the 60s to me. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just me. I'm just stupid. So, but overall, if I'm giving it like a score system, let's call it a scale of 1 to 10. I know that's lame, but on a scale of 1 to 10, overall, the film, I give it about a 6. For soundtrack and cast, I'd go an 8, maybe even a 9, because the cast was great. But like I said, I didn't care for the dialogue much. I really didn't. I was almost bored with the film. Not exactly, but almost. So, I think that'll be the end of this right here. I think I'm good. My first movie review, American Graffiti. I'm going to do sometime, probably the end of this week, I'm going to do a music review of the band Leprous, and I'll throw that up there. But Also this week, possibly Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to throw in a new episode, just so that we can all enjoy me some more. All right. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate everybody coming by to see this movie review. And until next time, we will see you here on the TwoTon channel. Thank you. Take it easy.